This is Don Fitzgerald, and very happy to be at the reunion here in Bennington. I was one of the original crew members, was assigned to the ship before it was completed in the Brooklyn Navy Yard. We stayed in the barracks until they got done. I was a machinist mate first class in the forward engine room, and rode it out during through the end of the World War II and the typhoon and everything. And then after the war, a lot of my good buddies left because they had points, and I still had to stay in until I was 21. So I was fortunate enough to come back through the Panama Canal and put the ship out of commission in Newport News, Virginia in 1946.
I was one of the unfortunate guys on August the 6th to be on that flight deck when that hot sun beating down on us and all those high-ranking officers throwing the bull. But we had to live by it. My name is John Forcisi, by the way. I was aviation boatswain's mate third class, a plane spotter on the hangar deck.
My name is Bill Scarborough. I was aboard the Bennington in May 54-26 when it blew up, and I'm very blessed and fortunate that I'm still with you all. I look upon every day from then on as a bonus in my life. We got a lot to be thankful for. Some of my buddies didn't make it, and I always think of them now and then. Kind of wish they were here, especially at these reunions. I was all the way down in a forward auxiliary, about 7 decks down, when we heard this boom, smoke coming all through the air vents, and guys were hollering and screaming out all kinds of things like we've hit a mine and explosion. Started to run up topside, made it to the 4th deck, passed out. That's as far as I went.
I had some near misses. The whole ship did at that time. And thank God that we made it back. And our pilots were the ones that were taking all the beating and flying over the enemy all the time. But we were fortunate enough to have three to four near misses from kamikazes. And I remember the first time we hit general quarters, and they always said, if you hit a 6-inch, don't worry too much. You hit a 40 millimeter go off, start worrying a little bit, but when you hit a 20s go off, stop praying. And we didn't hit an 06, no 40s, but we heard the 20s. And we all took off like scolded ducks. Because my station was a fire station, so unless we got hit, I didn't have nothing to do.
My name is George Kartasewski. I was a machinist mate on the Bennington. I'm from Denver, Colorado, hosted the 93 reunion, and I think the Navy made a man out of me. And I got a friend over here who wants to also talk. Come on over here, Hutch. You're wanted.
George. Yeah, you got me now. This is Don Hutchcroft, and I was in the engine room on the Bennington with George.
I'm Hal Lapine from Saginaw, Michigan. I was on the Bennington, got on there New Year's Eve in San Diego in 44, and I was the first one eligible to discharge in 45.
My name is Sid Eisman. I was in the 2nd Division from the commissioning until March of 46. And I had 9 months KP, which is mess cook and Liberty every night, and I had the officer's gym as a cleaning station.
My name is Jack Grantham. A lot of people call me Chief. I was Chief Aviation Machinist Mate aboard the Bennington. I went aboard her when she was somewhat new, when she got down to Norfolk, Virginia, and stayed on her duration. I left her September the 2nd, 1945, and from there I went many places.
This is Bill Bell from the wonderful state of Oregon, and I'm Jim Lynch, JJ, from Little Ferry, New Jersey. We're both plane captains, V2F division, original plank owners, served all the way. Wonderful time, wonderful experience, and today was really great. Seeing the wonderful pictures and the wonderful people. It's just unfortunate we couldn't meet many more of our old comrades from the flight division, and I'd like Mr. Bell to take a big bow.
Thank you very much. I was very fortunate to be in 2 groups, the V2E and the V2F. Of course, we got up on the flight deck and we got to see all these wonderful things interesting things happen. The best thing about this get-together is naturally seeing some of the people that we were associated with, and we find out now that we really did have one heck of a nice bunch of people.
I'm Mel Hatfield. I am from Lincoln, Nebraska. I was on the Bennington in 1944 when we commissioned a ship, and I think we were probably one of the first carriers to have the Marine Corsairs.
Hello, I'm Bob Buckner. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. I went aboard the carrier in April of, I guess it was June 1945. I flew F-6S in training, and when we got to Pearl Harbor, I flew F-4Us, so they needed fighter bomber pilots at that time. So from Pearl Harbor, we went over to Maui for training in F-4U planes. And about the second day I was over there, one of my flying buddies and I had a little mid-air collision. He came up a little bit too close to me, and my plane chopped his tail off, and he parachuted from about 2,500 feet, and my plane was okay, so I landed back safely back at the base. But from then on, we went out to, got aboard the carrier in Leyte Gulf in the Philippines in about June of 1945, and flew missions over Tokyo Bay, and we were over the Victory Parade in Tokyo Bay above the Missouri, and I think every flyable plane was in the air over the Missouri that day, and that's about the closest I've came in the whole war to getting wiped out because there were so many planes everywhere.
But I was glad to be on the Bennington. I loved that ship from the day I saw it long before she became commissioned. I happened to be from Brooklyn, and she was built in the Brooklyn Navy Yard. And
now, on December the 14th of 1944, we left Bayonne, New Jersey. On December the 21st, 1944, we arrived in Colon, Panama. We had liberty from 0630 to 2200. On December 22nd, we proceeded through the Panama Canal. It was my 7th trip, but on previous ships. December the 23rd, liberty in Panama City, Balboa. December 29th, we arrived in San Diego, California. We stayed for 72 hours. We pitched 2 liberties. January the 1st, 1945, we left San Diego, steaming to Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. On January the 7th, we arrived at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii with a welcoming aloha. January the 29th, we left Pearl Harbor, territory of Hawaii. February the 1st, we crossed the international date line, 0630. We lost one day. February the 3rd, we passed the Marshall Islands. February the 7th, we arrived at Ulithi Islands at 12:30. February the 10th, we left Ulithi with Task Force 58-1 at 1100. The Wasp, the Hornet, the Enterprise, and Big B, Bella Wood, Indiana and Massachusetts, plus cruisers and cans. February the 16th, we were in the Tokyo Express. The first flight left the deck for our first combat mission, 0730. One picket boat was sunk at 9:20, 96 miles from Tokyo. 9:24, we shot down 4 Bettys. 9:45, the Jap planes on their way to attack our force. 7 planes were shot down, 18 damaged. At 10:55, 30 Japs heading our way. 11:40, we shot down 2 engine Jap fighter. 12:30, number 3 flight returns. 3 planes missing from heavy anti-aircraft over the target. 14:20, number 1 flight, second mission returns from heavy anti-aircraft over the target. 7 planes were missing, heavy anti-aircraft. March 1st, today we strike Okinawa, which is a heavy fortification, home base of the Kamikaze Suicide Squadron, 325 miles from the Empire of Japan, the heaviest Jap air raid opposition. We ran into yet. May 16th, we're striking Okinawa with everything from soup to nuts, trying for the kill, but they're dug in too well. May 17th, we're raiding Kyushu with rockets, bombs, and strafing. Very little air opposition, but heavy anti-aircraft fire. May 18th, raided Amami Islands in the Ryukyu group. All 500-pound bombs, but no air opposition. July 10th, striking Tokyo again. B-29s just left the place in flames. Very little opposition all day at GQ. Traveling north, getting much colder. July 11th, traveled all day with drone practice. July 12th, refueling in the morning and started steaming for Hokkaido Island. July 22nd, heading north to strike Tokyo. July 23rd, heading northeast for strikes on Tokyo. July 24th, launched strikes on Tokyo airfields and industries and around Kuri and western Honshu. July 25th, launched strikes on Tokyo airfields and industries, 150-mile radius from southern Honshu to Hokkaido in northern Japan. July 28th, launched strikes against Japan naval bases and airfields. We launched 558 planes in different strikes all day. July 29th, no strikes today, fueled at sea. At 1,200 battleships, cruisers, cans left for bombarding. July 30th, launched strike against Tokyo airfields and naval bases, also industrial centers. Army dropped the new atomic bomb today. It destroyed 46% of Hiroshima and everything in vicinity. About 150,000 people were injured or killed. August the 8th, laying off northeast tip of Hokkaido, no strike because of bad weather and heavy fog. August the 9th, weather clear, launched strikes against northern part of Japan. Army dropped another atomic bomb on Nagasaki.